Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Kicks and Cuts. It's Marv here, and I got the man Carlo.
What's good, everybody?
Carlo, can you tell us where we're at, your business, and what you do?
All right, guys. So my name's Carlo. I'm the owner of Kicks in the 216, located in Great Lakes Mall. Shoe store. We've been around for roughly 4 years. And it's nice to meet people like Marv through the shoes, and it's just a great community around us. So if this is y'all's first time seeing me, nice to meet you guys as the viewers. And if you ever want to hit me up, talk to me, talk to Marv, definitely hit our lines because it's great people to talk to.
So what's your Instagram?
So my Instagram handle is @Kicks in the 216.
Okay. And what's the address here if somebody wanted to come out and check it out?
So we're located in the Great Lakes Mall, 7850 Menor Ave, Suite 342.
So as you guys probably saw in the intro, I'm gonna do something cool. Show off the Kicks in the 216 spot. But we wanted to talk to you guys today about Stock X NFT and the shoes that they're releasing.
Right.
So what do you want to talk about first? I think we'll have our phones out. We'll kind of be looking at the market and see what's going on because they only released a limited amount of sneakers.
Right. Exactly. So as of right now, my kind of questions I want to ask are basically like, so StockX, they kind of hit the ground running with this NFT.
Right. And it hasn't been more than a week yet.
Yeah, no, I really think it's been kind of 48 hours. So I mean, it's nice to be able to touch on it early, but there's still a lot of questions when something comes out like that.
Right.
So I mean, my first question is going to be like, why are they picking those certain shoes, and what makes that like the direction they're going? You know, is it because they only have those shoes, or you know,
do they have? Carlo and I were on the phone. He said, do they have those certain shoes because maybe they have so many of them that they're just trying to get those off, and then another batch will come? How often are new batches going to come out? That's another question. Because my thought is, I mean, you guys see the display behind me with the off-white lots. I'm surprised they didn't have the lots on there, you know, as an NFT project, if you will.
I'm surprised. Like honestly, it just seems like a weird catalog to pick. I mean, they went from something like a hyped item like a Chunky Dumpy,
right? And
I mean, I semi-hyped item like a Bad Bunny, and then to like something with a very low kind of, I guess, value like demand, whatever you want to say, with the Sakai Blazer,
right?
The Cause Edition. So that's really where it's kind of random to me because I think the catalog only consists of, it was either 7 or 9 items total.
There's not many items on here at all.
So something me and Marv kind of touched on was, we're kind of interested to see if it's kind of like a pump and dump type thing, but it's not something that you'd expect from a big company like StockX because they do have a brand and a name to protect.
Right.
But it does seem odd that only certain items are coming out, and also they're not really clear to what the project is, other than the fact that it's a vault. Right. So you're purchasing an item with StockX holding the item, kind of similar to GOAT storage. Mm-hmm. But you're also paying this huge premium for this NFT version of it. So it's kind of confusing because to me it just seems like it's a kind of glorified GOAT storage.
Right.
You want to touch on
that? And like what you were, like Carlo and I were both talking about is, well, let's get this clear too. If you're watching this video, you have no idea what the StockX NFT is and you just want some clarity, you're still getting the physical shoe. You just don't have to worry about storing it, having it at your house, wherever you're at. It's really just like Carlo touched on, a vault. And before we really got more into it, I just wanted to touch on what StockX has the definition as on here. Right. What the StockX NFT is.
Yeah, the description.
So, this loads. So it says, buy a StockX Vault NFT. All NFTs go to your StockX portfolio and are tradable immediately. So that's another thing. I wonder what that trading, is there like a NFT trading block on the website? Because you can't do it in the app either. That's another thing.
Right. So that's kind of a thing that also is a little confusing to me because say it's tradable immediately, right? So say I bought it and then you went and bought that product as well. So I wonder how they're going to clarify ownership in the sense of like, if I'm buying it and 30 seconds later you're buying it, does that just mean that they have the item sitting there and once a person decides to get it sent to them, that's kind of their claim to ownership? Or it's a very vague space right now because all we know about the project is you're getting a shoe that's in storage, and there may be exclusive member like benefits similar to a regular NFT community, but they still haven't really said what those benefits are going to be.
It's honestly like a consignment with StockX, if you think about it, because the thing about it is you get charged a fee when you purchase the NFT, and then you probably get charged a fee when you go to transfer it or sell it.
Yep. So like on a regular NFT, there's a thing called a gas fee in like the Ethereum blockchain. So that's basically you're paying for that transaction to move.
Right.
So I think kind of the direction StockX is trying to go here is we're trying to make the buying and selling process for a like a reseller a little more simplified and save on fees in the aspect of, okay, if it's sitting in a vault and they're buying to invest, instead of having to pay shipping to them, shipping back to us, shipping to the next person, we can have that as a digital token of, okay, I have this sneaker, let me hold on to it until it goes to where I want it, and then StockX can take care of the rest. And it simplifies the process, and they also mentioned something about lower fees.
Right.
So
it definitely simplifies the process, and I think there is a person that can really benefit from the StockX NFTs. We're not trying to say don't get an NFT or it's a bad idea, but for two store owners like us, having, say I got 10 pairs, and based on what these numbers are looking at, if I bought 10 pairs, I'm at least looking at 15 grand. And that 15 grand is just sitting with StockX and stuff I gotta be on my phone all day. It's not here physically in my store to sell.
Exactly, and that's something that me and Marv kind of wanted to touch on, is the price differential from an actual product to the NFT. So you could buy, say for example, a Panda Dunk for around $300.
Right.
But the NFT itself is upwards to $1,000, $1,150 is where it's at right now. But we've been kind of watching. It's been fluctuating between $800 and $1,500, which it just seems odd because as of right now, all we know about it is you're getting a product that's sitting in a StockX warehouse, basically.
Right. And if we would have invested in these black and white dunks when we were on the phone, because I think they were sitting around like 700, 800, I think, when we were on the phone like 2 days ago, we'd have made 200, 250. But I don't know what that would look like without the fees, and we'd have to sell at the right time and all of these different things. So it's definitely good for somebody that can be on their phone watching the market and kind of juggle back and forth. Definitely for somebody older too.
I think it kind of reminds me of the whole NFT bubble in a sense, like in general, because really there's kind of two NFT traders. There's the people that buy them to hold them because they enjoy the community, but there's then also I think the bigger part of NFTs where it's people are basically just buying the bottom and profiting off of that. So you're buying the bottom and you're just hoping somebody else keeps buying that bottom and you're making your margins like that. So I kind of see where the NFT space is kind of booming versus just the regular shoe. But I'm also thinking that StockX could go the direction of hosting events that are NFT member exclusives.
That would be cool.
Yeah, maybe like retail drops or even something kind of like Complex Con, where they can kind of make like a StockX Con or something like that, where NFT holders are able to go there and access stuff that you wouldn't be able to access without having one of those.
Touching on that, I think it would be cool if StockX held a sneaker event, but no sneakers are allowed in the building. So before everybody on the camera's like, what do you mean a sneaker event with no sneakers in the building? Only, like he said, member exclusive NFT holders, they're in there with their phones, and it's just a big networking trading event.
Exactly.
No tables are involved, so there's no table cost. Maybe they charge you a door fee to get in, but then you're talking with other guys, learning info, and it's just like a little networking event.
Exactly. And I feel like that's a big thing that you touched on right there is I don't think there's enough networking events. I feel like SneakerCon, even the smaller events are great, but I find myself personally, I'm rushing table to table to table because we have a limited window to get product that we need. So I don't really have enough time to say like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. What do you do? Here's what I do. And I feel like we kind of miss those opportunities to connect with good people in the community that can help us further down the line just because we're so stressed and we're in that one window of space.
Because we're trying to buy, like you said, you're trying to communicate with people. You're trying to make sure your shoes are legit. You're trying to make sure that you're getting the sizes that you need for your customers. So it's a lot going on. Sneaker event days are very hectic, not just only for the seller, but for the buyer, for the person running the show. It's all around hectic, day. But I want to open up StockX on the web on my phone and go on to what the sales are looking like.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to touch on.
Because think about some of those guys, I know they bought in at $200 on the NFT, so they were on it right when it dropped. So you're caking out at least 1,000, 800, and all you did was, you know, touch some buttons.
Oh, so I feel like that's another thing we should talk about. So we're also kind of curious to how these NFTs are getting distributed, right? So as of right now, all we know is StockX is putting them on their platform and making it tradable to anybody on the platform. But speaking of it being tradable, you can only do it on your computer as of right now. So they don't have any way for you to do it on the mobile app.
Right.
Which, I mean, eventually it'll probably become something like that. But basically kind of why I'm touching on that is typically with an NFT drop, you know, like, all right, this project has 10,000 individual pieces. So that's something that we don't know right now. So it's very confusing in the aspect of like, if I buy this NFT, who's to say that StockX can't just dump 100 more at a lower cost because we don't have a cap on it or we don't know what the cap is.
Right. No, you're right. If we look at sales though, because look, the first sale was January 18th at 2:17 p.m. And I'm going to pop this up on screen so you guys can see what we're looking at. But January 18th, oh geez, they were up there. So I wonder, it might have been the 16th when this released, because I saw sales for like 200. Or people were buying in at like 200.
Oh, they're cheaper ones, about 500.
Okay, yeah. So this is where we were looking at. Around
So, yeah, that's what
700,
we're talking about.
755 was like the buy-in.
But you see what I'm saying? Where it kind of doesn't make sense because we don't know who's putting them out, or it's not that we don't know who's putting them out there, but it's the quantities. And so, like, for example, right? You're seeing the market change from like upwards to 2,000,
right.
And then all of a sudden you see like a repetitive 500, 500, 500, 500. So what I'm curious about is that StockX putting more NFTs into like more pieces to that project? Is that them adding, here's 5 more NFTs at 500, and is that why the market goes down like that and keeps fluctuating? So it's really, like I said, it's very unclear because I personally think these NFTs should be numbered in a way that we know, like, okay, you have Panda Dunk number 1, you have Panda Dunk number 29. That way we know what the cap is, and it's a buyer-seller controlled market and not somebody independently dropping like certain amounts of like NFTs every so often.
Right. I just don't understand where they're getting these numbers from.
I don't either. That's really what it's.
Did we touch on that? Like where, or even you guys watching, if you want to comment down below, where do you think these numbers are coming from? Because if you even look at the Panda, I mean, it's a hot release right now. The grade school's moving, the toddler, the men's, the youth, the women's, they're all moving. All the sizes are moving. Everybody loves them, right? But they're not going for $1,000. The physical shoe isn't going for $1,000. So what is that NFT providing that is adding that?
And that's why I think
value?
it's too vague. I think there's not enough saying what it's gonna do. I think it's just kind of like, oh, it's something along this line, but we're not gonna really give you a direct like idea. So I think anybody investing in it right now, the pair of shoes that you're getting is just a bonus for you. I think if you're gonna invest in it, you're buying it for what's gonna come down the line. You're buying it for the potential of special events or special releases for these NFT holders. But besides that, yeah, I really don't think buying in is the best thing because there's not enough information on it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really what we said about like, we don't know how many there is. So Marv could have bought in at $2,000 the other day and had could have lost $1,500 potentially if he sees, wow, all of a sudden there's 5 asks at 500, where'd they come from?
Right.
So,
and it's just like, how is somebody even buying in at 500? Like, it just, I don't know. Like you said, there's a lot of unanswered questions with it.
I think they just rushed it.
I have a quick question for you, Carlo.
Yeah.
If you could buy any of the sneakers that are NFTs right now, no money attached to it, which NFT would you invest into? And I was wrong because there is the lot 50. Lot 50 is on there. I don't know where 1 through 49 is, but 50 is on there.
Right. So kind of like what we touched on with the Amineers, they have that bid of $6,000.
Right.
And I don't know where that number comes from or what the thought process of that is, where somebody's paying that kind of money. What was the last sale on that? $5,000.
5,000.
Yeah, and see, like 450, 800, 5,000. That doesn't make any
Where's
sense.
the jump coming from?
So it's like I'm saying, I feel like it's just an inflated market where people are we're profiting off each other's fear of missing out.
Right.
Like, oh, let me get this while I can.
Right.
Because even right there, that was what, 450?
Yeah.
So you're paying 450 for an Amamanir 3. That's a steal. Like current market's between 7 to 1,000 depending on the size.
So that's a good buy-in for whoever bought it at that
right.
price.
But where is it coming from? As a seller, who's selling a piece of digital art that's kind of like a golden ticket with a shoe that's worth even more for $450?
Right.
It's just a very, very rushed project.
We talked about sizes. Like if I were to buy right now, it's not going to let me pick a size. But then underneath here, it says U.S. Women's 8. So are they only selling women's 8s?
I don't know. See, that's where it confuses me to like, is this StockX's way of saying, okay, we have a certain amount of sneakers here, right? Something might have happened, buyer's address issue, cancellations, chargeback, whatever, right?
Right.
We have excess amount of sneakers that are just sitting in our warehouse right now. Yeah, we could re-put it on our platform and sell it, but odds are they're going to lose money in the sense of they could have had that Amamanir sent to them when it was only $300.
Right.
So I kind of feel like it's a little shady business where they're basically just trying to jump into the NFT sphere and market what they have already, and just get a crazy amount of money for it.
You're right.
So
I didn't even think about it that way, but you're right.
yeah, it seems to me there's way too many unanswered questions for me personally to invest, and I'm not by any means, me or Marv, giving you guys any advice of what to do.
Right.
If you think it's a good project, you think it's a cool thing, go ahead, invest in it, right? But just keep what we're saying in mind, because you might find yourself following the hype train and getting screwed out of a lot of money in the long run.
And I think we might even turn this into like a little bit of a series where maybe Carlo and I, down the line, if there's some more information released, we buy our own NFT sneaker and then kind of follow the process and maybe keep making videos on this, because it's definitely interesting, it's definitely cool, but it's not something I just have extra money laying around where I'm going to dump, a couple grand into a sneaker not knowing what my return on the investment is going to be.
Right, so kind of to touch on that, like I just kind of started to get a little bit into NFTs just on like regular things like OpenSea and whatnot.
Right.
And kind of something that I wanted to do was put X amount of dollars in an account and try to build it, right? With a low risk, because I'm not gonna put any more money in the account. So I'm just taking what I have and I'm trying to build it.
Right.
So kind of what I'd like to do, maybe if we could do a series and we get more information on this, maybe we kind of start a profit channel where we're trying to build a portfolio on these NFTs and say, we invest in something here, invest in something there. But mainly what I think would be good about these is for the hands-off reseller who just wants to have product in a digital space. But the only thing, it goes back to what we were saying with the quantities and where they're coming from and just the outrageous prices, because it's hard to say I want to invest in, they have a white Oreo 4 on there, right? And I was telling Marv this, that would be something that I would buy if it got down to where I wanted it to be, like around like, because...
Well, how many white Oreo 4s do you have here in store?
I have a lot, but that was one of my better investments. And I told a lot of people, I said, hey, like, get into the white Oreo 4s. I ended up grabbing like around 75 pairs at like $230 to $250 a pair. And current market values are between $450 upwards of $5 on many of the apps.
Yes, sir.
So that was one of my better investments. But yeah, basically like what I was saying with that is if it makes sense to buy the shoe and you see the value in the shoe, then that NFT is just a bonus. Having that potential pass to something is just a bonus. But I don't see the value in spending a ridiculous amount of money on it without knowing what it is.
And I think too, with anything, there's value, right? So another thing Carlo and I were talking about, even with the sneaker, it might be over market value, but people love to talk about what they paid for stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Hey man, I was on Stock X last night and I put $5,000 into this NFT, and everybody's looking at you like, that shoe's only going for that. They're excited. They're like, nah, I put $5,000 into this shoe, So that's another thing. People are very, very excited about what they're spending on clothing, items, different projects, whether it's an NFT, a stock, whatever it may be.
We live in the day of social media where everything is a kind of like a highlight reel. You know, people typically use Instagram or other platforms to kind of showcase their life and say, this is what I'm doing, right?
Right.
So I guess the dark side of that is we get consumed in YouTube and other platforms that feed us media and content, and I feel like everybody is really on this bubble right now of, and I'll be honest, it's what piqued my interest. I see a lot of people making a lot of money on NFTs, and I never really looked at them, I never really paid attention to them because I was like, it just seems dumb. You can screenshot it, right? So I think right now, the whole NFT thing is very bubbled by new interest, but that's not to say that there's not going to be more interest that makes it even higher. So you could still become an early investor.
Think about how many kids are sitting at home on OpenSea just putting $25, maybe $50, maybe $100, maybe a couple grand in monkeys or animals that are NFTs. So another thing that I thought of was NFTing the sneakers that are in my store, to almost show like basically what Stock X is doing in a way, but not really at all. Like, so for instance, this Cobalt. So say you NFT this Cobalt. Somebody comes in and kicks in the 216 here at Mentor Mall and cops these, right? Then when they go to resell them, maybe they don't want them anymore, they can find out where this shoe came from and authenticate it in a way because they know that it came from Kicks in the 216, opposed to saying, oh yeah, I got it from my bro from whenever, you know?
And that's the route I think it should go. I saw something recently where Nike acquired some kind of thing within NFTs where they're trying to build something. So like my thought process, and to touch on what you were saying, is when a shoe comes out from Nike, an NFT would be a great thing as far as a certificate of authenticity. And you could, I guess you could do it by the serial number, UPC, however you want to do it, whatever works for Nike. But that way you have that digital certificate of authenticity. And kind of like what Marv just said, even if we had a more readily available thing to do that as far as store owners, that would be great for, like, say you came and bought that Cobalt Dunk. Now we could give you a digital thing into your digital wallet that says, hey, like, we're certifying this product as it came from us, it's authentic, we looked over it, and you can feel better about it because now you have that.
And at the end of the day, we're buying the sneakers too.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, things slip through the cracks. I mean, you know, sometimes you're buying from somebody maybe that you trust, who you're always doing business with, but you never know, they might have got slipped, you know? So I think an all-around authenticity, just NFT would be great, because, I mean, with eBay guaranteed, that's pretty, I haven't seen any issues with the eBay guaranteed. But the Stock X tag is a joke now.
Yeah.
You see a Stock X tag, what does that mean, you know? You can do the black light, and hopefully it highlights, which is a good sign.
I think the good thing that eBay does, they do that, not to cut you off, but they do that where you can scan it, right? You can use that, like, put your phone up to it and it's gonna pull up the product.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where we're getting at with this whole NFT market of being able to kind of do that. I had issues with GOAT, StockX, where, so for example, I got an infrared 6 from GOAT, and any reseller knows your best friend is a black light. So no matter where we get a shoe from, we're always looking at it. Even if it comes from a legitimate source like GOAT, eBay, StockX, wherever, we always look it over. And that's why I always think, and I always push the concept of buying in-store and supporting your local stores is the best thing to do, because we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna make sure everything's good. They're not looking for little things like little flaws within the shoe. I mean, granted they do catch them, but they're touching thousands of products a day.
Right.
We're gonna take that time to look for it, and we're also gonna be your best friend when it comes to customer service, because you can walk in and talk to us. You don't have to go through a string of emails. And that's really...
Or guess what size you're wearing. I mean, I know Carlo on certain sneakers, he's not doing try-ons. Obviously, you come in for a chunky dunk, you're not going to sit here and try it on and make sure it fits. But, you know, you come in here and you're looking for a regular shoe and you want to try something on, you're more than welcome to try it on, make sure it fits, and then go home feeling secure in the shoe instead of, oh, I bought it online and I hope it fits when it gets here, you know?
I actually just got a phone call yesterday. A guy, he bought a shoe on StockX. It gave him an error, so he bought it again, like pushed the order through, and he ended up getting 2 pairs. And I had this happen to somebody else a little while back. They ended up getting 4 pairs of the same shoe in the same size. And he came in and he's like, yeah, I know I'm gonna lose money on it. And it's not really fair to the buyer that they're having errors on their website, and he had to come in here and say, hey, I know I'm going to lose money because I understand you guys can't pay that market plus fees plus shipping, all that, and still make a profit. So I'm okay with losing the money, you know, for you guys, but it's upsetting that the sport
that it had
team,
to even come to that.
Exactly.
Because even for Kicks, he ordered a bear brick on Stock X, right?
Oh, I think he ordered the rug.
No. Yeah, he ordered a rug, like a $4,000 rug, $2,000 rug, off-white. Whatever, price doesn't matter, in a sense. But he ended up getting a cause figure instead of the rug.
Right.
And then he went to, they said something stupid like, if you ship it back, we'll give you your money back, but if you keep it, we'll give you half of the money back. I don't know what they said, but it still doesn't make it right. How do you mix up a rug and a cause figure?
And I start to think that they manipulate things, right? So there's a lot of times, and if you go on StockX, for example, and Marv could probably pop it up whenever he looks at it, right? There's a lot of times where you see a bid that says 250, and then you go to the bids tab, and there's bids for 269, 290. Like, there's bids higher than what that's showing as the highest bid. Right. And I've heard theories that those are overseas, that's, you know, different places, different, you know, whatever, and those are why those bids aren't showing up on our actual, like, sell now.
Right.
But it's still just, I feel like there's big market manipulation through these companies, and I also, that's why I don't really put it past StockX that this is kind of just a pump and dump thing where they're dumping these NFTs into the market with a shoe behind them and inflating the price on purpose, and that's why they're only putting a certain amount out every so often, because, you know, everything's got their price, and everything's price is what someone will pay.
Right.
So someone might pay $2,000 for a Panda Dunk NFT, but maybe they won't if they don't have the opportunity to pay $2,000 because the market's flooded with a bunch of $500 listings.
Right.
But if they keep it steady, they're going to keep getting those big sales.
Keep getting those big sales, yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on as far as that?
No, I think this was productive. I learned a little bit just from hearing you talk and a little bit more of a different perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
100%. And we'd love to keep doing this.
Yeah, we're going to start a little series, me and Carlo. And where are you at again? Where are you at?
So we're at Menor Mall.
Yes, sir.
So for my locals, the surrounding areas, Willoughby, Willowick, Euclid, Cleveland, we are within typically a 10 to 20 minute drive from you. Menor Mall, 7850 Menor Ave. And yeah, you come in the mall, food court, come right through where it's hard to miss us. You know, it's a big spot.
It's a big spot. You guys will see it. I'm gonna drop some highlight reel in here. It's a beautiful spot that you have, Carlo.
Appreciate it.
His story is great too. I actually want to come back and do just like a video on your story. I think that'd be dope too. But I appreciate you. I enjoyed filming with you, and we'll see you guys.
Make sure to check out Marv, man.
Yes, sir. Kicks and cuts.
Don't forget to show this man some love. He's got a great vibe to him.
Thank you. We'll see you guys.